Hello, this is the TradeSite US Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday the 9th of October and ending Friday the 14th. I hope you're having a good year so far. We're into the fourth quarter. Monday here in the US is Columbus Day. It is a somewhat bank holiday, optional. Some banks are closed. Stock market's open, but it's kind of awkward with a lot of the banks closed. It's usually a very light volume day. We treat it as a bank holiday here, so we will not have actual calls Sunday night going into Monday, but we will for the rest of the week, obviously. So let's go through the charts, and then we'll look at the data coming out this week and get a plan. So here's the dollar index daily chart, made a new high from the last 2 or 3 months or so, helped out by the pound taking a strange hit overnight, Thursday night going into Friday. That's still slightly unexplained. They're trying to figure out what happened there. So we've got, oops, sorry about that. We've got, not much new. We're still stuck in a range, generally speaking. Here's the euro dollar. Didn't get much of a move. Bounced right off the red static trend line again. That's the active trend line right now. So here's the pound. So I had mentioned last week the pound dollar, if it broke under the lows of that base, that was going to be, was about 2,800, that was going to be a big sell signal on the pound. Real technical for swing trader type play, multi-day play. And if you got in ahead of that, it dropped as much as 700 pips on the session. Unfortunately, our trade on Thursday night, when the actual gap happened, it was more of a gap spike, triggered in that, so it's hard to get a fill. Otherwise, unlike Brexit, where we were already short ahead of Brexit just based on one of our trades, and it really gave us a big winner. This we were not in, unfortunately. But anyways, the pound's obviously hurting. Here comes the Aussie dollar. Going to get real cheap to travel to the UK soon, obviously. Here comes the Aussie dollar at 0.75. Pound yen also making new lows on this breakdown here. Didn't get the spike the pound dollar did. Here's the euro yen holding up much better. Pound Swiss also broke. By the way, if I go to projection mode, this is a 13 buy signal of all things on the pound Swiss from that exhaustion there. And here's the New Zealand dollar pair sitting on the red static trend line still. All right, let's look at the week 30-minute candles. High to low for the week was only 140, 130 pips. Not very exciting on the euro dollar. We started out flat Monday, Tuesday down and back up on a spike. Wednesday dead flat, barely 40 pips of range for the whole session. Thursday we headed lower, Friday a little lower, and then spiked back up. Meanwhile, the pound, which is our other favorite, obviously big range for the week, almost 1,000 pips if you bet it's all in that spike. I mean, 600 pips of it is just that spike alone. So if you weren't already short, there wasn't a lot to do there. And overall, I mean, it was maybe 350 pips before that. We had some winners and whatnot. But again, the ranges haven't been incredible yet. We remain half size on our Forex trading. So we went into that late in July. Typical. August is very slow. So we're very flat, and then we wait after Labor Day and summer for volume or activity, anyways, to start to come back in to the market before we put our size back up. And so far, we've not seen the type of activity that to me would justify changing our size. So we're still half size. Here's a look at the data coming out this week. Japan's on bank holiday to start the week. Unemployment rate out of Switzerland, German trade balance, M2 money supply out of China, new loans out of China. Italian industrial production, the Centex investor confidence number, and then, like I said, U.S. and Canada on bank holiday, so no Forex calls. That's weird, though. It's like it's an optional deal. Some of the banks can be open if they want. UK BRC retail sales monitor, current account out of Japan that night, auto loans out of Australia, economy watcher sentiment out of Japan, zoo economic sentiment out of Europe and Germany, the NFIB small business index here in the U.S., housing starts out of Canada, labor market conditions here in the U.S., federal budget balance sometime this week, Westpac consumer sentiment out of Australia, core machinery orders and 30-year bond auction out of Japan, Tuesday going into Wednesday around the globe. Europe, German WPI, preliminary machine tool orders out of Japan, French final CPI, zoo economic expectations out of Switzerland, industrial production out of Europe. Wednesday morning here in the U.S., we've got a Fed member speaking. We've got the JOLTS job openings, the 10-year bond auction. The minutes from the last Fed meeting get released at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. New Zealand Manufacturing Index and FPI, UK's house price balance, Japan's bank lending, Australia's MI inflation expectations, trade balance out of China, and then the U.S. denominated trade balance out of China. Tertiary industry activity out of Japan going into Thursday. German final CPI, U.S. weekly unemployment claims, the Canadian NHPI, import prices, natty gas, crude oil inventories, 30-year bond auction. M2 money stock out of Japan, PPI out of Japan, China's CPI and PPI, and foreign direct investments, Switzerland's PPI, construction output out of the UK, trade balance out of Europe, and then U.S. core retail sales PPI. Fed member speaks again, preliminary U.S. consumer sentiment for October, business inventories, and then Fed Chair Yellen speaking at 1:30 p.m. on Friday. None of our big three, no Fed meeting, no first look at GDP yet. That's later this month. We are entering earnings season here in the U.S., but that doesn't necessarily affect Forex. So nothing to dodge, really. There is a decent amount of data this week. Hopefully we don't see another spike like we did on the pound for whatever reason that happened. So it's a straightforward trading week for us, and if the ranges start to pick up, we will go back to full size somewhere in here. Charts, as usual, brought to you by East Signal 12. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week and a good long weekend if you take Monday off.